Hello everyone. Today in this video lecture, we're going to talk in formal terms about decentralized autonomous organizations. Starting with decentralized autonomous organization definition. So, a decentralized autonomous organization is an entity structure in which token holders participate in the management and decision making of an entity. There is no central authority of a DAO. Instead, the power is distributed across the token holders who collectively cast votes. All votes and activity through the DAO are posted on a blockchain, making all actions of the users publicly viewable. So, what does it mean? As you can see on the slide deck here, the first line it says that okay, if you're a token holder, you bear the token, then you participate in the management and the decision making of an entity. It's like just think in the layman terms, DAO is basically a company that is there on the blockchain in which there is no CEO. You don't have anybody to run that company. People who hold its token, they act like the shareholders. They vote and they do everything, and that everything is actually recorded on the blockchain. So instead of you just trusting a boss, you trust code, you trust public transparency, and that's the core idea. Are you getting that? Because there's no central authority. Power is distributed across the token holders who collectively cast votes. With this, talking more about it, DAO is an organization run with smart contracts on a public blockchain. Think of DAO as an organization that uses smart contracts to facilitate and enforce decisions made by its members. At its core, DAO is a piece of software on the blockchain that manages permissions to other contracts and actors. A DAO is self-governing in that it is managed directly by its members as individuals or holders of assets, whoever bears the tokens, on the actions the organization takes. These actions occur on chain, meaning they are executed and recorded on the blockchain. Some actions include managing funds, holding votes, or changing the DAO's governance parameters itself. So if you have to think about it, just think that DAO is nothing. DAO is just an organization with smart contracts, right? So what are the smart contracts? The rules of the company written in code. You mention the condition in the if statement, whatever the condition is, if the condition holds true, whatever is written in below the block, below the if statement in that block will all get executed as and when the condition inside the if block holds true. So if the members vote yes, the smart contract executes the action automatically. No waiting, no approvals, no biases. And this is what makes DAOs autonomous. This is what makes your DAOs self-governing. Are you getting it? So now let's just dive into DAO word by word. D stands for decentralized, A for autonomous, and O for organization. I believe this is what you know till now, right? Now let's just go word by word. Decentralized. Built on top of trustless, permissionless infrastructure such as the Ethereum blockchain. The infrastructure of Ethereum itself is decentralized because it's maintained by a network of computers spread across the world. There's no centralized actor or entity that runs it. This means it can't be turned off by attacking or applying pressure on a single entity. So, if I talk more about it, what is decentralized? Decentralized has a simple meaning. It's not controlled by any one person, any one individual, right? The powers are distributed. But where is the power distributed? Among which individuals, among which community, among which people is the power distributed? So the power is distributed among all the people who hold tokens. Are you getting that? If you hold a token, you are a valid shareholder and hence you can cast your votes for any decision that has to be taken. Are you getting it? Then we come to autonomous. What is autonomous? Autonomous is self-governing. Self-governing via managing permissions and automatic execution of those actions. with trust placed in the smart contracts that make up the core of the organization rather than in human actors. The smart contracts execute the decisions of the organization automatically. Permissions are managed autonomously by code rather than by people. So, if I call it autonomous, what does it mean? In layman terms, just remember that autonomous says it runs automatically using code. That is, it is built upon a smart contract. There is an if statement. If the if statement condition holds true, your smart contract is going to execute automatically. Because if is true, the block that is written beneath that if statement, the if block, is going to execute next. And if that if condition is true, you cannot ask your code to stop. Do you get it? In that way, it is autonomous. Organization. Actors coordinating to reach shared objectives. These actors can be humans or possibly intelligent non-human actors such as AI in the future. So organization is nothing. Organization, you all know, it's a group of people that are working towards a shared goal, working towards to reach the shared objectives. That is it. And if you know this simple things about decentralized autonomous organization, what is it? How do you define it? You can go word by word into it. Then I think nobody can stop you from, exceeding the DAO wherever it comes to you. It may come in the form of an interview question, or it may come in the form of an semester examination, or just for general understanding. That is it. That is DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. Now, how are your DAOs different from traditional organizations today? So, what are we left with? Okay. Uh-huh. So, how are the DAOs different from traditional organizations today? The main difference between DAOs and traditional organizations is that instead of enabling coordination by trusting central intermediaries to enforce decisions, DAOs can remove this need for trust by making and enforcing decisions on the blockchain. Are you getting it? In the traditional organizations today, we have a head, we have a CEO who is responsible to manage this all, right? But if you just remove him, if you remove this need for trust by making enforcing decisions on the blockchain, then that is the difference. Using blockchain as infrastructure grants DAOs unique properties when compared to traditional organizations, including trustless execution of collective decisions. Smart contracts automatically execute the results of collective decisions, such as those held through votes. The results of the decision making process are recorded on chain, not alterable, and are reliably executed by smart contracts. Crypto-economic incentives create alignment between actors in the organization. DAO technology allows you to program incentives directly into the governance of your organization through smart contracts. Now, if you have to talk about first thing, in companies today or in companies in the past, we've always trusted humans. There was always a CEO who was held responsible for the overall working of the company, right? People looked forward to his, what do we say, his orders or whatever he wants for the company, because he would always think in the welfare of the company, right? But today, if I talk about DAO, in DAOs, we trust the software, we trust the code written in the software, we trust the blockchain, right? Rules cannot be changed secretly, votes cannot be manipulated, results cannot be altered. Are you getting it? Because every shareholder, or I would say every token holder in the organization, has a right to cast a vote. And it is all on the chain. So you cannot alter votes. You cannot just manipulate anything. There is a trustless execution of collective decisions. If there is a smart contract to employ that, if the vote is yes, just allocate this much fund to this thing, it has to be done if the votes get to be above whatever the threshold has been set. Then crypto economic incentives, we by the way of putting it on the blockchain, crypto economic incentives have been have to be, or could be linked to it, rather I would say, to create the alignment between actors in the organization. Are you getting it? Because crypto economic incentives you cannot get in when you talk about the traditional organizations today. So in the simple lines, if I have to say it all, I'll just say that DAO replaces trust in humans with trust in transparent, immutable code. It's very important to know that once it's not about, you're casting votes. If you have tokens, you can cast votes. We, even in the traditional organizations today, there are shareholders, and all the important decisions of the company are taken, are taken considering those shareholders. But the thing is, there the votes can be manipulated, the results can be altered. But when I talk about the DAOs today, everything is on chain. And when it is on chain, it is permanent. Nobody can delete it. Everybody can write into it, but nobody can delete from it. So what else is different? Governance, experimentation, and the speed of software. So governance issues, governance things, it takes a lot of time, right? They're slow, they're cumbersome. But when you talk about them happening at the speed of software, them happening at the speed because of the smart contract, because of the blockchain, that is different from traditional organizations today. Blockchain as a source of truth. So for traditional organizations today, there is no source of truth as blockchain. Their source of truth is more of a human. But today, when we talk about blockchain, when we talk about DAOs have their source of truth as blockchain, and blockchain everybody knows to be immutable. Do you get that? Then transparent and open by default. These are all the characteristics of the blockchain. Blockchain is transparent, blockchain is open by default. Do you get? Again, I would just like to mention it off that if you have any doubts, or if you need re-explaining videos on any of the content out there, just go and make sure that you're posting it in the comment section so I know if I need to do that, right? And if you mention it out there, just rest assured that it would be done. So yeah, in DAOs, everything is visible, treasury, spending, votes. This makes your DAOs super fast to experiment. They're like software organizations and not the slow bureaucratic ones. So blockchain acts like a public audit log. You get that? Then the differences in DAO, casting a ballot is needed by individuals for any progression to be implemented. Votes are counted, results are carried out consequently without a believed intermediary. If the if condition is true, the block will execute automatically. It has to execute. This is then completely democratized. Administrations offered are taken care of consequently in a decentralized way. Then, if I come to the traditional organizations, depending on the structure, changes can be requested from the sole party, or casting a ballot might be advertised. If you are casting a ballot, then votes are counted inside, and the result of casting a ballot should be taken care of physically. That is why it is prone to error, it is prone to manipulation, it is prone to alterations. And it's usually progressive, requires human taking care of, or halfway control uh, mechan- mechanization inclined to control. So how DAOs, they put the organizational activities on the blockchain? We learned that all the organizational activities, they are done on chain, but how are they put on the blockchain is the thing. So the smart contracts within the DAO framework facilitate, execute, and enforce actions without humans needing to intervene. This is what we already know, right? For example, the smart contract dictates the conditions, such as passing a vote with a minimum quorum and level of support to be met in order to withdraw funds. So if I say you that if it's above 50%, I'm going to allocate this much fund to this cause. And if the conditions are met, the smart contract is going to run automatically and send those funds. The actions a smart contract can take are determined upfront by the actors who deploy the DAO. These can be changed later, following the initial conditions and the parameters. For example, a smart contract with token-based voting couldn't just decide to change its parameters to implement wallet-based voting. You would have to need to follow the parameter changing process, maybe by holding a vote, because if you're a token holder, if you're a shareholder in the case, you have a right to uh, get heard what you want to say. And if you can't, then you would need to deploy a whole new DAO that has the rules that you want. With this, the next part, it says here are a few key parts of an organization that are run on chain in a DAO framework. Coming to first, it is human organization activity. In this, the membership is defined, but when you talk about its on-chain equivalent, it is like purchase the DAO's governance token to get voting rights. Very similar to membership. There you have membership, here you buy tokens. Then about human organization activity, a community makes decisions to achieve a common goal. But if you talk about DAO, you have to vote, then you use these tokens, right? There's a community and the community does the voting. But here, if you want to do the voting, you have to have the tokens. Coming to the next part, human organization activity says a shared pool of funds is managed. That is, example is a checking account at a bank. So here, if you talk about the bank, you talk about the equivalent, the on-chain equivalent of a bank account, it's a smart contract. It's very easy to remember if you just, if you map it in your brain one on one. There you have membership, here you buy tokens. There you do the voting. Here, if you have tokens, you use those tokens to do the voting. There you have a bank account, here you have a smart contract. Agreeable? With this, I will be taking your leave. So if you have any doubts, any concerns, just go and make sure you're using the comment section wisely, judiciously. Let it be used and let me know wherever re-clarifications or re-videos are needed. I'll be most happy to help you with that. With that, thank you so much. If you were able to extract anything out of the video, just go ahead. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Bye-bye.